Ladies and gentlemen, how do you win in life and in business without burning out and sacrificing your life for that? This is a deep question, right? And unfortunately, this is what I see in today's reality. Most of you bitches, you just don't have enough balls to live the life on your own terms. You are a submissive little bitch, and reality has you by the balls. Reality just doing like this all the time, all the time. So most people, even the most successful ones, right? You're playing this, I am a serious entrepreneur, I am building companies, scaling my business, or like whatever is the thing that you do, right? I don't really care. The problem that I see is that most of you are not even living your own life. The system has brainwashed you into believing that success and winning in life is somehow equals to making as much money as possible, getting a fancy car, a fancy house, like all that stuff, right? Which partially it is true. I'm simplifying this just a little bit, but it's just what I see, right? For so many people, your business is this soulless cash printing machine, right? And unfortunately, the way that people run their businesses, run their companies, it has nothing to do with who they are. And the next question that I want to ask you is, do you really understand? Do you really know who you are and why you are here? So you may answer like, hey, like I'm John, I am a business owner, I'm Susan, I am a graphic designer. Like on the surface, this is correct. But unfortunately, what most people don't understand is that you are infinite consciousness. You are a God who is having this temporary human experience. To experience life through limitation and to, well, number one, have fun and just get cool experience, right? And what I want to talk about in this video, I want to present you this idea, the concept. This is what I call the character Bible. And this is the way how you can get more aligned with yourself. So let me explain my definition of success in life and in business. And I'm maybe going to use some personal examples. So to me, there's really no difference between life and business. My life is business, right? There's no separation. But for so many people, the business has become this big fucking thing and they are so small, right? And then you are so obsessed over this fucking soulless cash printing machine, which you call business, that you forget to live. You forget to enjoy yourself, right? What if I told you that business could be fun? What if I told you that you could live the life and you could create a business based on your own rules and on your own terms, right? But again, most of you just have way too small balls to say fuck you to the system. Again, I'm not saying in a way that you should go crazy, do some crazy shit. No, it's more like just really understanding who you are, what you want from your life, from your business, and so on, right? So let's talk about this. This is what I call the NPC syndrome. Unfortunately, most of you are NPCs and bots who are living someone else's expectations because, again, you're just a submissive little bitch to the reality, to your business, to your obligations. You're not obligated to do anything in this reality if you don't want to. But again, most of you are just way too of a pussy. Honestly, even like the language that I'm using, I just want to repel people who don't understand humor. And I just like to troll a little bit. But the problem that I want to discuss as the first point here is the NPC syndrome. So let me see what I have on my notes. So, and we're going to use some personal examples. For example, let me give you a little bit of a context about myself. So I have been producing music for 10 years. You know, I've been teaching people. I had a successful coaching business in that. And to me, that was the way to combine my passion, do what I love for living, get paid, and you know, it's like win-win. Now, the problem that I see with most people, you might be making really good money, like financially, right? You might have all the attributes of success, but deep inside, you can feel like shit. You can feel miserable. You can feel like you lack purpose. And this is the trap, right? Do you even understand who you are? What you want? What are your real desires, right? And do you really enjoy the things that you're doing in your day-to-day, the things that you are doing for your business? And just think about this honestly, because if you don't, that's a form of fucking mental violence against yourself. It's the most sneaky way of self-sabotage, right? So you think like, oh, like I am building a company, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, like I'm doing this. Even if you don't like work your ass off, still, if you're forcing yourself to do the things that you don't want, excuse me, what the fuck are you doing with your life? This is a serious question. If you think that you're fucking obligated to do something in your business, who said that? You see, most of you have created this mental prison, this mental construction. Oh, like, I must do this, I need to do this, I need to do that. But there's really no one and nothing that is controlling that. There's really no one who is forcing you besides yourself. And it's just so fucked up for me to see people are living this illusion. Again, I have nothing against capitalism, right? But it's been in a lot of times what I see in day to day is just I have nothing against capitalism, but it's just turned into this cargo cult, right? You know, if you're not familiar with the term, I'm going to explain really quickly. I don't remember like where exactly on the planet that was, but there were like American planes during like the war, something like that, and there were people who were living on those islands, and when they saw American warplanes, they then created those like like a copy of the plane using the materials, the wood and everything. So they believed that if we're gonna build those, because Americans they brought food to those people, right? And they believed that, oh, if we build those planes out of like wood and whatever, we're gonna get more food. And this is the cargo code, right? And the same thing is happening with capitalism, with all this like all the narratives, like build a business, you know. I don't want to go too specific, right? And most people, you don't live your life. You live by the script that your family, the system, the school has assigned to you. You are so afraid to just listen to yourself. Because I know, I can see that, I can sense that. When I talk to people, it's just obvious when people lie to themselves, when people live in this fucking illusion, right? So when you are not living your own life, this is what I call the NPC syndrome. You bought into someone else's idea of success, of business, and then you even forgot who you are and what you want to do in this life, right? So you wake up, then you do some business activities because you're obligated. You're such a serious business owner, right? No, you're just a retard. I fucking love making those videos. No, because the moment I allowed myself to be myself, to say anything that I want, I can say fuck you in this video and, well, who cares? That's my video. Obviously, this is just like, I'm having fun. I'm not trying to like intentionally insult you, right? I just like to poke at the problems and really, make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, maybe like painful, right? But again, you wake up, you do this one thing, then you do another thing, then you do another thing. But really the question is, the actions that you take, are these truly your actions? Or is it someone else's idea of success, of business, and so on, right? Now, what's the solution to that? And again, we are talking about the character Bible. And I'm gonna explain this in more detail, right? So many of you are just so busy playing this adult, I have a family, I have a business, I have this, I have that. But I know you bitches just wants to play. You just want to have fun. The biggest problem that I see in today's reality, again, just adding to the previous points that I said, is people forgot how to play. People forgot how to enjoy. Remember when you were a kid and you were doing something just because it felt fun? Most people don't do this anymore. I don't know why. But that's a question. That's a topic for another video, right? You forgot how to play. You got so many obligations in your life, in your business, and you think that those circumstances, you think that this is bigger than you. But again, you're just playing it small. You're just playing it small, my friend, right? And I look at this life, when you understand that you are infinite consciousness, a God who's having that human experience, number one, when you remove all the fear, right? So let's remove the fear. You become more free. And not that you only become more free, you become the freedom itself. Most of you bitches, you are afraid that you're not going to be able to pay your bills, you're not going to be able to feed your family, that something else happens, what if this, what if that, and you're using your mind against yourself. I got to the point in my life where I don't care about anything, like in a good way, in a good way. What I mean is, when I say I don't care, I just mean I don't have fear. For example, the biggest fear that most of you motherfuckers have is that you're afraid to die. You are fucking afraid to die like a little pussy. That's just the way it is. Because if you didn't have that fear of living how you want, you would live differently. You would move differently. You would speak differently, right? But you're just too afraid. It's so funny, all of those like serious millionaires, billionaires dudes, you're afraid. You're afraid to die. And in the last 2 years, I realized this one thing. If I'm infinite consciousness, you can take my life right now. I don't give a fuck. I'm not afraid. I'm not gonna die. I cannot die because I'm infinite consciousness. That's just the thing. And when you understand that no one can do anything to you, no system, no person, this is when you grow big balls. When you grow big balls. So like, I'm not afraid that I'm not something happens in my business, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills. Who gives a fuck? I'm not even gonna use mental energy to think about this. I'm not afraid to die. You can take my life right now. I don't give a fuck. I'm not afraid to be like alone. See, when you remove the fear, the life suddenly becomes like, wow, that's such a fun playground. So I know I've been ranting for a little bit. This video just went a little bit differently. It's more like a freestyle rant, but well, still gonna post it. Still cool, right? Okay. A couple things that I want to say before we jump into the character Bible. I know I presented this idea for like 15 minutes or something like that. We're gonna get into it. But if you ever played a game, right? If you ever played a video game, a board game, you see, like, when you have a character, right? That could be like, I don't know, just name a cool character. A character has a specific equipment. A character has specific perks, spells, all that stuff. So why are you treating your life as this boring fucking realistic adult, right? One of the things that pisses me off is like, be realistic. Fuck you. I'm not going to be realistic. I'm going to be delusional. I'm going to have the delusional self-belief. Because, well, if you don't believe in yourself, you will. Right? And most of you are treating this reality way too seriously. But if you would treat this as like, hey, this is just a game, now it gets more interesting. So let's talk about this. Character Bible. How do you solve this problem of, being successful but feeling like shit, or like being successful and not having fun, being successful and like feeling miserable, lacking that joy, passion, enjoyment from your life, from your business, and so on. So you want to start with the Character Bible, and you just want to sit and really think about this. Who are you? Have you ever thought about this? Not some fucking cliche, I'm like a business owner, I do this, I do that. No, but like on a fundamental, like esoteric, spiritual, metaphysical level. Who are you in this reality? I'm actually I don't want to go too much into the details in this video, but I'm gonna leave a document like to my Character Bible so you can read it and just maybe get inspired by my own example. But who are you? What do you want to achieve in this life? Not this some fucking bullshit, I want to make $1 billion. That's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. There's nothing wrong with the money. I love money. I love, being wealthy. But at the same time, money, in my opinion, cannot be the only motivator, or like, how you say this? The only motivator. So who are you? If rules didn't exist, if there was no limitation by the system, by your business, by your family, whatever, fuck this, that doesn't exist. So I just want you to sit and really just play. Be a fucking kid for like at least, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, just right now. Like, sit with me. It can fucking change your life. Or you can just go and be fucking NPC, a bot in this golden cage. Have all the attributes of success, but still feel like shit. Who are you? How would you play? How would you move? What would you do if rules didn't exist? This is number one. Now, your mission. What would you like to achieve in this life? Or what would you like to do? Wouldn't have to attach like any big meaning to achieving goals. But what's your mission? For me, what I realized, what I enjoy the most is inspiring other people, raising the consciousness of people. Even this video is probably so fucking unusual. There's no one who is, talking about this. Everyone is talking about how to scale your company, how to scale your coaching business with paid ads, how to create content. Fuck this. It's just fucking garbage. It is garbage. Most content on YouTube is fucking garbage. It's like surface level how to exist in the system, or how to play by the rules of the system, right? Like, everyone is teaching you this surface level shit, but no one is going deeper. So my mission is to just raise the consciousness of people through music, videos, clothing, like all that stuff. I'm not gonna go into the details and tell you about every single project that I'm doing, but these two things, who are you and your mission, it is not about like making money, but like, why? Think about this. Who are you? What do you want to do? Fuck, I get goosebumps. Like, this is some real shit. Who are you? why you are here, and most importantly, who are you? What's your mission? And why are you here? Why do you want to achieve this? Because once you understand their true meaning, when you are aligned with yourself, hey, this is something that I want to do, this is my idea, everything changes. Because when you remove the fear, when you say fuck you to the matrix, to the system, to all the roles, this simulation, it cannot longer affect you. It cannot longer manipulate you with fear, right? Because most of you are afraid of your shadow. Most people have been, we've all been taught to hide some feelings, some emotions, be polite, or be a nice person, right? And most of you are hiding that shadow. Your feelings, your emotions, your ideas. And this is the danger of this, because the more that you hide from yourself, you cannot run from yourself, you cannot hide from yourself. And when you bullshit yourself, when you're compromising yourself, that every time that you don't pick yourself, every time that you act like this submissive bitch to this reality, to the system, to your business, to your obligations, you're running away from yourself. And at some point, what's going to happen, how could I illustrate this? Let's imagine that this is going to be like a vessel, right? So every time that you lie to yourself, when you compromise yourself, it gets bigger, 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 bigger. And then at some point, all that pain, all that shit, you would have to deal with it, right? And it will be very painful. So don't compromise yourself, don't run from yourself. What is your shadow? What is your shadow? What do you really want in this life? And funny enough, it sounds so simple, but your passion or multiple passions that you might have, something that you deeply, things that you deeply care about, this is the easiest way to scale your business, to win in life, to become more happy. But for so many people, it sounds so simple that you start finding arguments against yourself. Why it's not going to work out in my business? Oh, I can't do this, can't do that. Okay, fuck you. Go live your life. Go be this little submissive bitch to the matrix, to this reality. Right? Now, when you have your character Bible, what happens is that you connect with your spirit. Or some people like to call this higher self. Technically, pretty much the same thing, right? You can call this however you want, but when you understand who you are, why you are here, you become aligned with yourself, and every action, every idea, every action that you take and every idea that you come up with, it happens from that state, right? And then you're just gonna naturally take action that will improve your life, scale your business. So many people are so desperate for the money, and that's the reason why you're running. It's probably fear of death is number one, and then you're just too of a desperate bitch for the money. That's just the way it is. That's what I see. Most people are, right? You're so desperate for the money that you have this tunnel vision. Oh, that's the only way how I can succeed in my business. That's the only way how I can live my life, right? But what if I told you that you are sitting on a fucking gold mine right now, right here? You have an idea that you're just too blind. You are too of a pussy to see it, right? Because you're bought into the matrix. You're bought into these ideas, like the false narrative, the false idea of success, the false idea of winning in life, right? So when you connect with yourself, when you start taking action towards your inspiration, towards your passion, towards joy, your life, your business, it just starts to bloom, right? Your business, now, this is a big idea that I'm standing for, right? Business, let me write like this, is reflection of your spirit, higher self. That doesn't really matter. And when you stop separating your business from your life, this is when magic happens, right? You're not longer chasing the things that the system wants you to chase. You're not longer trying to please people around, or you're trying to please algorithm when you create videos, whatever. You can put any example, it doesn't really matter, right? When you become so self-centered, right, the gravity, or we could say your balls become so big that you literally start to bend and distort this reality. You get more business opportunities, things just like, you start magnetizing things, right? Just like this. Because everyone and everything in this reality, they have too small balls for this, unfortunately. And that's the that's the sad truth, my friend, right? But in order to become magnetic, you need big balls. You need to have that, sometimes what other people would call delusional self-belief, but there's really nothing delusional. It's just other people are using their mind against themselves. They want to live a fucking hard life, and they want to create obstacles and roadblocks with their mind. Most people are just retarded in that point, right? So stop being this bitch. Stop being a submissive bitch to this reality. Stop being a submissive bitch to your business, sometimes even your family. I don't give a fuck. There's really nothing that I will take as an excuse. Family, business, personal circumstances, that's all same shit. Everything that you're experiencing in your life is just a reflection of your beliefs, your state of consciousness. Because this reality, it is mental. If you don't understand this, the life will fuck you like this, and it will keep fucking you like this until you get this, okay? So that's it for this video, kinda. So what's the last point of this video? Stop being a bot. Stop being a submissive bitch, and finally grow fucking balls and start living on your own terms, even if that goes against someone else's opinion, even if that goes against the norms, the rules, because once you do, you will never be able to go back. Because when you live on your own terms, when you live how you want, there's no way that you can go back, okay? And you can start with the character Bible. So really sit and think about this. Check my documents. I'm just going to put it out. Get some inspiration and just really sit and write your story as the main fucking character of your movie. Don't be a fucking NPC. Be the main character of your own movie, my friend. If this message has resonated, and if you want to create your character Bible, and you want to live life on your own terms, you want to build your dream business, or restructure your business, whatever is the thing, I'll see you in the spirit circle.